Did you know that there was a revolution that affected almost all regions of the world? The Industrial Revolution occurred in the period between 1760 to 1850, where massive changes occurred in the fields of agriculture, manufacturing, mining, transportation, and technology, and had a profound impact on social, economic, and cultural conditions in the world. This revolution caused massive developments in all aspects of human life. In short, the Industrial Revolution was a time when human work in various fields began to be replaced by machines. The Industrial Revolution started in Great Britain and then spread throughout Western Europe, North America, Japan, and spread throughout the world. The Industrial Revolution marked a major turning point in world history. Almost every aspect of daily life was influenced by the Industrial Revolution, especially in terms of continuous and unprecedented increases in population growth and average income. During the 2 centuries following the Industrial Revolution, the average per capita income of countries in the world increased more than 6-fold. As Nobel Prize winner Robert Emerson Lucas stated, "For the first time in history, the standard of living of ordinary people experienced sustained growth." This kind of economic behavior was unprecedented. England provided the legal and cultural foundation that enabled entrepreneurs to pioneer the Industrial Revolution. Key factors that contributed to the Industrial Revolution include: 1. The period of peace and stability that followed the unification of England and Scotland. 2. There are no barriers to trade between England and Scotland. 3. The rule of law, respecting the sanctity of contracts, 4. A simple legal system that allows the formation of joint stock companies, corporations, and 5. The existence of a free market, capitalism. The Industrial Revolution began at the end of the 18th century, where there was a shift in the use of labor in England, which previously used animal and human power, which was then replaced by the use of machines based on manufacturing. The early period began with the mechanization of the textile industry, the development of iron-making techniques, and the increased use of coal. Trade expansion was also developed by the construction of canals, improvements to roads and railways. The transition from an agricultural-based economy to a manufacturing-based economy caused a massive population shift from villages to cities, and ultimately caused the population to swell in large cities in England. The beginning of the Industrial Revolution is still debated. T.S. Ashton wrote it approximately 1760 to 1830. There is no breaking point with the Second Industrial Revolution around 1850, when technological and economic progress gained momentum with the development of steam-powered ships, railways, and then at the end of the century the development of the internal combustion engine and the development of electric power generation. The factor behind the Industrial Revolution was the scientific revolution in the 16th century, with the emergence of scientists such as Francis Bacon, René Descartes, Galileo Galilei. Apart from that, this was accompanied by research and research development, with the establishment of research institutions such as the Royal Improving Knowledge, the Royal Society of England, and the French Academy of Science. There are also internal factors such as domestic political resilience, the development of entrepreneurial activities, the large British colonies, and rich natural resources. The term Industrial Revolution itself was introduced by Friedrich Engels and Louis-Auguste Blanqui in the mid-19th century. Some 20th century historians such as John Clapham and Nicholas Crafts argued that the gradual process of economic and social change and long-term revolution was an irony. The gross domestic product, GDP, per capita of countries in the world increased after the Industrial Revolution and gave rise to the modern capitalist economic system. The Industrial Revolution marked the beginning of an era of growing per capita income and capitalist economic growth. The Industrial Revolution is considered the most important event that has occurred in the history of humanity since the domestication of animals and plants during the Neolithic era. Entomology. The beginning of the use of the term Industrial Revolution was found in a letter by an envoy from Paris named Louis Guillaume Otto on July 6, 1799. At which time he wrote that France had entered the industrial era. In a book published in 1976 entitled, Keywords, A Vocabulary of Culture and Society, Raymond Williams stated that this word was a reference to the term industry. The Industrial Revolution was a major, rapid and radical change that had an impact. Human style of life is often called a revolution. The term revolution is usually used to see changes in politics or government systems. However, the Industrial Revolution in England was essentially a change in the way goods were made, which were originally done by hand, human power, and then replaced with machine power. Thus, goods can be produced in large quantities in a relatively short time. Background: the Industrial Revolution first appeared in England. The factors that caused this are as follows: stable political situation. There was the Glorious Revolution in 1688, which required the king to swear allegiance to the Bill of Rights so that the king submitted to the law and only collected taxes based on parliamentary approval. England is rich in minerals, such as coal, iron ore, tin, and kaolin. Apart from that, wool also really supports the textile industry. There are new discoveries in the field of technology that can simplify work methods and increase production results. For example, spinning tools, weaving machines, steam engines, and so on. England's prosperity was due to the advancement of shipping and trade so that it could provide large amounts of capital for the business sector. Apart from that, in England there are also sufficient raw materials available because England has many colonies that produce these raw materials. The government provides legal protection for the results of new discoveries, patents, thereby encouraging scientific research activities. Moreover, after the formation of the scientific institution Royal Society for Improving Natural Knowledge, technological and industrial developments became more advanced. The large flow of urbanization resulting from the agrarian revolution in the countryside encouraged the British government to open more industries to accommodate them. Development. In the late Middle Ages, European cities developed as craft and trade centers. The city's residents, the bourgeoisie, who are free-spirited citizens, are the backbone of the city's economy. They compete freely for progress in the economy. The growth of crafts into industries went through several stages, as follows. Domestic system. This stage can be called the home craft stage, home industry. The workers work in their respective homes with their own tools. In fact, the crafts are obtained from entrepreneurs who, after completion of the work, are handed over to them. Wages are earned based on the number of goods worked on. With this way of working, employers who own businesses only pay workers based on performance or results. Employers are not bothered about workplaces and salaries. Manufacturing. After industrial crafts became more developed, a special place was needed to work so that employers could properly monitor how it was done and the quality of its production. A manufacturer, factory, with dozens of workers is established and is usually located in the back of the employer's house. The middle part of the house is for living and the front part is a shop for selling products. The relationship between employers and workers, laborers, is more intimate because the workplace is one and the number of workers is still small. Items are sometimes made based on orders. Factory system. The factory system stage is already an industry that uses machines. The location is in a designated industrial area, which can be inside or outside the city. This place is for work, while the employer lives elsewhere. Likewise, shops where industrial products are marketed are located in other places. The number of workers, laborers, is already tens, even hundreds. The goods produced are made to be marketed. The impact is, the Industrial Revolution transformed England into an advanced and modern industrial country. In England, industrial centres emerged, such as Manchester, Liverpool and Birmingham, which ranked 4th, 3rd and 2nd after London. Like other revolutions, the Industrial Revolution also had wider consequences in the economic, social, and political fields, both in England itself and in other countries. Consequences in the economic field: abundant goods and cheap prices. The Industrial Revolution has led to a massive increase in industrial businesses and factories through the mechanization process. Thus, in a short time you can produce an abundance of goods. Production of goods doubles so that it can meet the needs of a wider community. As a result, making goods is fast, easy, and in large quantities, so prices are cheaper. Small company goes out of business. By using machines, production costs are relatively small, so the price of goods is relatively cheaper. This results in traditional companies being threatened and going out of business because they are unable to compete. Trade is growing. Thanks to modern, fast and cheap communication equipment, local production is turning into international production. Shipping and international trade are growing rapidly. Transportation is getting smoother. There are discoveries in various transportation facilities and infrastructure that are increasingly perfect and smooth. In this way, the dynamics of people's lives are increasing. In America, production of the Ford Model T car began to grow rapidly after implementing the assembly line concept using a conveyor belt, thereby reducing production time and costs. Consequences in the social field: growing urbanization. The development of industrialization has given rise to new cities and busy centers. Because the city with its industrial activities promises a more decent life, many rural farmers go to the city to get work. This has resulted in the neglect of agricultural activities, low labor wages. As a result of the increasing flow of urbanization to industrial cities, the number of workers is increasingly abundant. Meanwhile, many factories use machine power. Thus, labor costs become cheap. Apart from that, social security has also been reduced so that their lives become difficult. In fact, many entrepreneurs choose child and female workers whose wages are cheaper than male workers. The consequences in the political field: the emergence of the socialist movement. Workers who were treated unfairly by entrepreneurs began to mobilize to form forces to improve their lot. They then formed an organization which is commonly called the socialist movement. The socialist movement was motivated by the thoughts of Thomas Maris, who wrote the book Utopia. The most popular figure in socialist thought and movement is Karl Marx with his book Das Kapital. The emergence of political parties. In an effort to fight for their fate, the workers continue to unite. Moreover, the increasingly strong position of workers in parliament prompted the formation of a forum for political struggle, namely the Labour Party. This party has socialist leanings. On the business side, they merged into the Liberal Party. The emergence of modern imperialism. Entrepreneurs/capitalists generally have a strong influence in the government to carry out imperialism for the sake of continuing industrialization. Thus, modern imperialism was born, namely the expansion of regions as places to market industrial products, search for raw materials, invest surplus capital, and places to get cheap labor power. In this case, England was the pioneer. That's a review of the Industrial Revolution.